I got that job in 3 hours. From application to getting an offer in 3 hours. As strange as it sounds, I made an application. I think around 11, around 12, they responded like, "We would like to set up an interview," and I'm like,
How much, like, on average, like, if I'm doing computer science or I'm doing computer engineering, you know uh,
"Yeah, if you don't fail a test or an exam, you're special," and I was not that special. Quite a lot of courses showed me flames. One of them is
software engineers, they are self-taught, right?
yes.
Others are university taught, like you're a graduate from university. Like, what's the difference between those two? Yes.
Uh,
Hello, guys. Welcome back to Gift. This is Gift Bozekana. Welcome back. If you are new to the channel, make sure that you like this video right now. You give us thumbs up and you subscribe. Today I have a special guest. I will allow him to introduce himself. Hello, sir.
Hi, Gift. Thank you for having me on your channel today. I'm Tawanda Mzanenamo. I'm a software engineer based in Cape Town, and I'm also an electronic computer engineering graduate from the University of Cape Town.
Wow, a whole software engineer.
Yeah, trying to join the mainstream. Just trying to be like the cool kids around the world.
Entire software engineer.
Yeah, just trying to join the cool kids around the world, trying to see how we can make change
Yeah.
around the world through software. So,
Yeah.
as I like to say, change the world one line of code at a time.
Yeah. Let's take it back. So, like, where are you from? Like the high school and the stuff. And yeah.
Okay, so I'm originally from Zimbabwe.
Yes.
That's where I came from. So I moved here for university in 2016, and that's when I started my first year as an electrical and computer engineering student. That's also where I developed my passion for software engineering, introduced by
Okay.
the first course that we do in first year, which is Python programming. That's when I actually discovered my love and my passion for software engineering. It was born in that course, the introduction to Python programming.
Okay. So that's when you started. Like, did you have a background knowledge about coding previously in high school, or you started coding here?
No, I started coding here, and it was confusing. I actually, it took me a while to actually understand what I was doing because I was introduced. So I was late when I first came in. I think I came in a week after school had started, and the whole introduction had happened, and so it took me a while to grasp the concept of programming and fully understand exactly what I was doing. I think, if I'm to be honest, I would say I didn't fully understand programming until our second year, because even though in first year I used to do assignments mostly with the help of my friends. Like, I just discuss this, what do we need to do, and then they would guide me and everything. So I knew what to do to get around assignments and tests and exams, but to fully understand, it wasn't until the second year computer science course when we had to do data structures and algorithms, building binary trees and everything. That's when I fully understood, like, okay, this is what I'm doing. If I do this, this is the expected result. So that's when I fully grasped the concept of programming. Yeah.
All right, sir. Okay, you get into UCT, right? First year in electrical and computer engineering.
Yes.
How was it?
It was challenging, especially first year. It was challenging. So, as someone relocating, coming to Cape Town first time, and even though I was in boarding school for high school, there was something different about just being here. The responsibility of knowing when to study and when to play and everything. So I struggled a lot during my first year to just balance the courses and the life. So the settling was very difficult, and also just coming to a diverse location like Cape Town where there are so many races that wasn't the case where I was coming from, which was Midrand, where mainly it's us black folks. So it was very challenging just settling in. And also the other challenge that I had was staying off campus, and now having to balance the cooking, the studying, the doing dishes. It was a challenge. First year was definitely a challenge. So I only settled in like properly second semester. That's when I moved into Rise. So then things started making more sense there, that I now have more time to actually plan my studies. Now I have more time to rest after school before I go and eat and then come back and study. So yeah, being in Res really helped me settle in well. Being off campus didn't help at all.
Okay. So academically, how are you performing? Like, did you ever sometimes like, hey, I regret choosing this course, or you did at some point grasp the content that you were being taught in class?
So I was never an A student, like a straight A student. That was not me. I would say I was an average student at best. I did get some very high marks at some points, but that was like third year going fourth year when I fully understood what the degree was about. And so I would say first year and second year I did struggle with some courses, and part of it all was just due to my negative mindset, because as boys you just chill around, you just say, this course is difficult. You just decide before you even start the course that it's difficult, and it showed as flames. Basically, that's what happened. At least that was my case, where you already develop a negative mindset against a course, because either you've heard from senior students that this is a difficult course, it's gonna chow you. That's what they used to say, this course chows.
Yeah.
So you develop this negative mindset towards the course, and as soon as you get in there, you're already scared of what's coming. One course that I remember being so difficult to me was signals and systems. There was no reason for me to believe it was difficult. I was just told it was difficult, and I believed it. I believed it so big that I actually never understood what was happening in the course. Like, never. And I remember just passing barely, like I think like a 51%, like praying, like that's it, that's enough.
Yeah.
I don't even have to take a look back. So
you think
yeah.
the problem is the mindset, like
The mindset that you approach the course with will definitely affect you, because when I changed that mindset for me, when I was in third year, my marks changed, like drastically. They changed. I stopped struggling with the course. Like, I would understand concept. Obviously you wouldn't get like 100%, but I would understand the course more, I would understand the concept more, and I started getting distinctions, which was not possible during first year. Like, it was not possible. I started getting distinctions. I started actually understanding what the course is about. Even if I get a practical, I could do it by myself. I didn't need the help of my friends all the time. So
Okay.
I actually became that one person that people could turn to for help if they need help with a certain course. So yeah, I think the mindset is key. What you think about when you start your degree, how you approach it, do you enjoy it, and what's your goal? Are you trying to understand the course, or you're trying to pass? Because there are two different things. If you're trying to pass, you can pass without understanding anything. I know that, because first year and second year I didn't understand anything. But if you try to understand, you see that you'll pass better, and as you move on to, if there's a follow-up course to that, you see that the fundamentals that you understood in the first course will help you in the second course. As I mentioned, that signals and systems, the first one showed me flames. The second one, I had a different mindset, but it really was difficult for me to fully understand, because now they have this assumed knowledge that they assume you have from the first course, but I didn't have that. So it was now like I'm doing two courses at the same time, trying to see, okay, this is a Fourier transform, but then how do I transform it however that they want? I didn't even know what that meant. So I had to first refer back to the first course to try and understand what exactly is happening, then come back to the second course. So you see, I'm now fighting fire with fire now. So yeah, your mindset is very key to how you do at university. That's one thing that I learned. If you come in with a positive mindset, no matter how much people say the course is difficult,
change your mindset. Do not listen to other people until you experience it by yourself.
Yeah, I think because your experience will be unique to you. The person that you're talking to, you don't know how they approach the course. When they study, you don't know that. When they are attending their tutorials, you don't know that. So if someone who wasn't studying, wasn't attending their tutorials, tells you that the course is difficult, and then you believe them, there is something wrong with their approach, and it doesn't have to be your approach. Maybe ask them why they found the course difficult, so you can avoid making the same mistakes, because I think we are not usually honest with each other about university and the importance of attendance, of lectures and tutorials. When I think as students, we're not really honest with each other, like, what does it mean to attend lectures? Because you can say, I'll miss the lectures, I'll catch up. How often do you catch up? Be honest with yourself. How often do you catch up if there's no test? So it's this thing that you need to be honest with yourself about, and actually view the value that attending lectures brings to you, attending your tutorials, doing your work on time, doing your own assignments. What value does that bring to you as a student? Because if you decide to become a fireman and just fight fire with fire every time it's test week, now you are reading the whole semester course, you will see your results. Your results will be a reflection of that. That's the one side of, I think, university, and especially engineering. Your results will be a reflection of how much effort you put. Definitely, you put in enough effort, you will be a good student. But if you put in the bare minimum, we will see on your transcript. We'll be able to tell that this was guys putting bare minimum effort. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's true. Wow. So, what's other strategies and the methods that you use so that you manage to pass and do your second year, third year? Yeah.
I've changed at first when I really decided to focus on my studies was my attendance. It is very important for you to attend your lectures and your tutorials and doing your work. That is very important. That's the building block, because with that, they say that's the foundation. Without that, no matter what else you try, it won't really work. And I know there is a concept of lecture videos and everything, but it's not the same from compared to when you're in class. And also, as you are watching lecture videos now, what are the odds that you're also on your phone whilst the video's playing? So you get those kind of things that there will be distractions when you're watching a lecture video, or you'll be watching at 0.25 speed so that 40 minutes becomes 20 minutes just so that you get past it. All these things, there's a skills. I think we've all been there where you watch the whole semester worth of work in a week because you're watching at 0.25x speed, whatever. So that changed, and that helped me attending my lectures, doing my tutorials ahead of time. And the circles that you hang around with, that's the second thing, because like I said, we're not usually honest with each other about why the courses are difficult and everything. So you get to see the mentality of who you are speaking to, who you are spending your time with. If they are telling you that attending lectures is not gonna help you, that's what you're gonna do. You're not gonna attend lectures. So you don't change your mindset. You can either be a lone wolf and just be by yourself, or try be within the circles that align more with your goals academically. And it's okay to be a friends that have other goals, but academically you don't have to always hang around your friends. You can have friends for the course. Now for this course I hang around this person, not because they're a friend that you go out with, no, but for that course, for still the right mentality in you, you can hang out around different people for different courses. It doesn't have to be your best friend. If your best friend's goals academically are different from yours, it doesn't mean you have to stop being friends. You can still be friends, but you have to realize that academically we are going different directions. And then secondly, the other thing that I noticed that really helped me was just practicing, not studying because there's a test coming, but studying and practicing because I need to understand. So there is a concept of doing past papers. I know the engineering department is very stingy with past papers. They will not give them away. But if you speak with your colleagues, which is where it's coming from, like who you hang around with, you speak to your colleagues within your class, there are people with past papers. People who know people who were, because, for example, I was doing, let's say, what course comes to mind? CSC 2002 in 2018. The S course, right? I did that in 2018. At least I have papers from 2018, past papers, and maybe the memo from 2018. So I would have given it to a friend of mine who was doing it in 2019, and that person will now have 2 years of past papers, even though the computer science department did not give him 2018 papers. I gave them. So you see, that sharing of papers will help, because if you speak to people and ask like around, do you have any past papers, you find out there are a lot of Google links floating around. I was actually smiling the other day. So for when I was preparing for the computer science exam, the 2002S, I created a Google Drive where I would answer the past exam papers that I have and put in Google Docs. Those were my answers. So then I shared it with the class, like, hey, this is what I've done. If there is an answer that is wrong, anyone is free to go and put a comment or go and change the answer. So the next person can learn from that. And about 10 or 11 people from the class participated, others bringing in their own answers, their own past papers and everything. So that this became like a, if I want to study, if I want to recall something, I can go and have a look. So I think last week I saw a notification that someone was editing that, putting in more answers, putting in more papers. And I'm just thinking that this is from 2019. 2023, this is useful to someone.
Yeah.
And then I just started checking the logs now, seeing it's actually in use every year. People are coming in, adding more things. So you realize that if you're not speaking to people, if you're not speaking to them, I don't even know where that person got the link from. I have no idea. I shared it with my class in 2019. That was it. How it got to that person, I don't even know which year they're doing or which degree that they're doing. But it's through word of mouth, through communicating with the right people. Someone got it from me, gave it to someone who gave it to someone. Now it's where it is right now. So yeah, just talking to people, trying to find out where can I get past papers, past tutorials that will also help you, because they ask you the same question, maybe in a twisted way, or maybe most of the times it's direct. Like you'll be like, I've seen you before, I've seen this person before, and you make your way out.
It
And
becomes easier.
yeah, and if you fully understood the course, you don't have to recall the answer that you saw in the memo, because you actually understood the question when you saw it before. You understood the answer, so now you know how to answer the question. Because part of it is also understanding how to actually answer the question, which is what you see in the memo. What are they expecting? What are the keywords? What are the formulas that they're expecting you to use to answer this question? So once you understand that, the marks are yours to take.
Wow. Okay, sir. Okay. Is there a time whereby you failed the test or the exam?
A lot. It's engineering. If you don't fail a test or an exam, you're special. And I was not that special. Quite a lot of courses showed me flames. One of them is, there's a course, I think it's Make 119F, about, I don't know, chassis and beams and everything. It also comes down to the mentality that I said I was an electrical and computer engineer. I don't need to do anything to do with chassis and beams. I'm not trying to be a mechanical engineer or a civil engineer. This does not help me in my degree. And that mentality ruined me, basically, because I wasn't paying attention to the class. I wasn't even attending tutorials. I would just go and chill. And this course used to have like a tutorial test at the end of every tutorial. So I'd walk in 10 minutes before the tutorial test. So I'd sit down and just write my tutorial test. And my marks were terrible each and every week. It got to a point where, DP, where my marks were, before the second test, I needed a miracle to make DP, like a plain old miracle. And in my mind, I was just thinking, maybe let me deregister this course, because I need a miracle to even get DP. Then I'm gonna need another miracle to pass the exam. So yeah. So then a friend of mine sat me down and said, hey, miracles do happen. What you need is not really like a big miracle. I think I needed like a 70% to make DP. Like you can get 70% if you prepare for your test. So you start today, you start preparing and finding the concepts that you're missing. So that's when I discovered things like Chegg. There's this site called Chegg, very helpful with answers and everything. If you don't understand, you can even post your question there. Some tutor from some country will come and answer it for you. That's when I discovered that, started using it, started subscribing for it, because I was investing now for the second test. And guess what? I got in the second test, 71. Just barely enough for me to make it.
Yeah.
And come the exam time, I was comfortable. I could understand the concepts that I thought were not useful to me. I made it out of the exam. But there are courses that I actually felt that I had to repeat, and some of them were not even difficult courses to make things worse. It's like for courses like project management, I just had the wrong mentality when I was in first year that it's project management. Why would I need to focus on it? But then come the exam time, I didn't make it out because I thought it would be that easy because it's project management. And I think engineering drawing, I also failed engineering drawing when I was in first year because of my mentality. I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't trying to learn anything about drawing. And I hung around with friends who had done technical graphics in high school, so they understood all the concepts. They didn't have to study. So now I was the odd one out. I didn't know how to draw, but then I hung around people who knew how to draw naturally. So when it came time for me to draw my own things, I struggled. These guys didn't struggle because they'd done it before. The whole course, they'd done it in high school. I hadn't done it. Now I have to face it head on in an exam. I didn't know anything. So yeah, there are times where you would fail, and mainly I would say it was due to my mentality. There are also times where you fail a test, not because of your mentality, but just because the test was just downright difficult. Like it was difficult. I tried, I was studying and everything, but the test was just difficult. So just changing your mentality won't take you across. You gotta do more. Change your mentality. You gotta put in more effort. And if you don't understand, you gotta ask those questions. Those watch seats that come with tutors, or the time that the lecturers put, like, I have this time set for you guys to ask questions at the end of every lecture. Be one of those guys who are talking to the lecturer. It's not embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's for your future. It's not for anyone else. So be one of those guys. If you're going to ask a dumb question in the lecture that everyone will look at you, then so be it. If you don't understand, you're not doing it for the next person. You're doing it for you. And you would also be surprised at how many people will be like, ah, that's what it means, because they didn't understand, but they just didn't want to ask the question because it's probably embarrassing. So be that person who's always asking questions if you have to be.
Alright.
Don't mind what people might think, because people actually don't think about you. Hey, yeah, they're not even looking at you, they're not thinking about you. So be that person, ask questions, bother the lecturer. That's why they are there. They're there to give you attention. They're there to teach you. Ask them, bother them. Tutorials, you have your tutors, bother them. Even if they give you a nickname, it's okay, accept it. It comes with what you want, because at the end of the day, when you finally finish, you will walk out away from UCT by yourself. You probably came by yourself as well. So whatever you do when you are here is for you, not for anyone else. So yeah.
Okay, you managed. Okay, thank you, guys. Changing mentality alone doesn't work. Sometimes it does happen that the paper is quite difficult indeed, but you have to put more effort. So, okay, you graduated now. How did you feel when you finally done with the course now that you did?
It was a relief getting the final set of results. So I finished during the COVID year. It was pretty obvious that I had passed because it was COVID year. There was like vibes and less hectic in terms of school. So it was pretty obvious, but it's just a relief when you see your transcript saying you are now a graduate at the end. It's a relief. You then get to reflect on all the moments when you thought this was impossible, because for some it sort of becomes an impossible task. You ask yourself, will I ever make it out of here? Will I ever walk away with a degree? So I was very relieved to get that confirmation of degree, and yeah, it was a huge relief. Like, felt like weight has been lifted off my shoulders, like a lot of weight. It's been lifted off my shoulders. It's an achievement that I wanted when I got here, and I got to walk away with it. So yeah, and it's also a testament of your hard work, because you look at your transcript, no matter how your marks look, that's your work. You put in the effort that you put in there. So it will be just a reflection of your work and a relief. There's a sense of pride that you feel that I did this, I made it out. So yeah, I was very proud of myself.
Then you came out of Sarah Batman Hall and finally you did it.
I did it, yeah.
All right, let's go to software engineering now. What developed the love for software engineering? Like, is this something that we're planning to do all along since we're there?
I didn't have a plan to do software engineering. Zero. I had no plan. I had a passion for programming, but that was it for me, because I actually never looked at the industry. I actually didn't know what was in the industry, what was going on, and this was until third year. So it's actually very funny how I got into the industry. So there's this program called Break the Rules that happens every semester, I think, organized by the computer science department, where where companies come to present their internships, and then students get to see which companies ask questions and then apply. So I attended one of those. It was just for the offers and t-shirt. Honestly, I wanted the offers and t-shirt. That's why I attended. And so I was just there, and I saw a friend of mine was presenting for a company, Citic Prepaid, and it clicked in my mind, like, this guy is a friend of mine from my class. How is he presenting for a company when we are in the same class? It didn't make sense. So I then applied for the same company, and I'm pretty sure that I got the role because he is a friend of mine. He just said,
So it's very important to know people.
yeah. So then when I started doing my internship, I didn't know anything. I will tell you, and I'll be completely honest, that during that internship I learned a lot. and achieved nothing. Because getting there, seeing him being the head intern, like he was managing us, like how can someone in my class know way more than I do about this industry? So that's what clicked in my mind. Like, if he can know it, so can I. Because then I asked him, how do you do it? Then he said, his words were, I've sacrificed my grades to grow my career. Because he was an A student, that's what he was. And then by then, I don't know what he meant by sacrifice his grades, because maybe he was no longer like getting distinction throughout. Maybe now 60s, 70s, which was okay for him because he was focusing on other things. So from then onwards, I then started focusing more on backend engineering because that's what I learned the most during my internship. And the following December, I looked for another internship as well to continue growing. So I think that was 2019 June. That's when I had my first internship. Then I did another internship 2019 December through January. So through that, I continued to learn and learn and learn and learn. And also something that I did after learning was to look at how people get jobs, how you get interviews and everything. And there's a concept of personal projects. What are you working on during university outside your assignments, outside what you've been asked to do? How creative are you getting with your mind? So I started looking at what other personal projects can I work on, and you'd see someone say, make a personal website. And I'm like, okay, what do I need to use to make a personal website? HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Go on YouTube, Privacy Media, that was the plug, learn everything. My first personal website, I copied everything from Privacy Media. I was just changing the details to be mine. And then after that, in my mind, I'm like, okay, now let me create this from my mind. Let me envision what I want and create it. And I continued learning. It was a learning process, bit by bit, seeing what are the trending technologies, what are people saying. So basically, I was more focused on what would get me a job as soon as possible. Then you start seeing like, okay, if you learn Python, if you learn Django, that's on demand in the industry. If you learn,
Yeah, and that's one of the questions that I will ask there. That like, what are the most demand technology stacks in the South African market?
so I would say the best place to get the correct information would be the offers and developers report. That would be the best place. But what you can use is just on average job postings that you see on LinkedIn. Just go set up a reminder. Job postings, what do you see? What are most people looking at? Because now South Africa is a very interesting market. I would say you on one day you might see a lot of Python, on another day you might see a lot of C sharp, another day you might see a lot of Java. So it's a very diverse market. There isn't one dominating framework, at least where backend is involved. I think C sharp is probably up there, but there's also a lot of Python up there. There's also a lot of Java that you see. So it depends on, I think, which industry you want to break into. Because if you're going into, I think, the finance sector, the banks, most of them use Java a lot. If you are coming in e-commerce, you'll find a lot of PHP because most of them will be using WordPress. So that comes with PHP and everything. And if you, yeah, so it all depends on which industry you're going to break into. If you go into an industry with machine learning, you're going to find a lot of Python there. So it all depends on which industry you are going to. But what I would also say is, rather than focusing on tech stack, focus on the fundamentals, focus on the concepts. What if you are a backend developer? What are the key concepts for a backend developer? Okay, we need to build endpoints. Get, post, put, delete. What does that mean? Once you know that concept, if I give you Python, like, hey, give me an endpoint to get data from the database with Django, you need probably a GET request. So because you understand the concept, quick look at the documentation, you can come up with an endpoint that does exactly what you need. Give you Springboot, quick look at the documentation, you can do that, because that will help you, especially if you're trying to break into the industry as a junior. You will not get the job that you want. You might, but in most cases you will get the job and they will tell you that, oh, we are using PHP, and you've been focusing on Python. Now you feel like all the years that you've put in Python and all the effort is gone. But if you're focusing on the concepts, it's okay, because that happened to me. I think I got my first job before I graduated, so it was fully remote, COVID years, and it was Python Django. And I will tell you that I got that job in 3 hours. from application to getting an offer in 3 hours. As strange as it sounds, I made an application. I think around 11, around 12, they responded like, "We would like to set up an interview," and I'm like, "Okay, I'm available whenever because you are the boss." They're like, "Okay, how does 2 p.m. sound?" I'm like, "That's fine." I did the interview at 2 p.m. By 4 p.m., I had an offer. And part of what made me go through the doors was the UCT. UCT will open doors for you. The fact that you're a UCT student, a UCT graduate, will open doors for you that you would never be able to open from other universities. That alone to people is she knows what she's doing. You're smart. Just being at UCT will open doors for you. So being at UCT opened that door for me. And I joined this company. They're using Python Django. I'd never written Django before. On my CV, I put Python Falcon, which is a whole different framework. And I joined. I think I actually started work the following Monday. So I applied on a Friday, and Monday I was starting my job. And I just did some tutorials because I focused on the fundamentals. It was easy for me to understand whatever is being said in the tutorial because I've done the fundamentals. You won't know to the full depth, but you will know the surface. The rest of the things you either learn by in-depth reading of the documentation or reading articles or watching a YouTube video of someone. And these days, blessed with ChatGPT, you can get an explanation of the fly. So if you focus more, if you put your energy on the tech stack as a junior, I think that's not, according to me, that's not the right step. Focus more on the fundamentals because when I left that job, my first job, I then joined my current company, which is Be Online. They are using Laravel at the backend, which is PHP. Now I had never written a single line of code in PHP, never. And I remember being given a 6-hour course, and me being stubborn. I'm like, I don't need a course because I looked at the course content, what the course was gonna teach me. And I'm like, I know these concepts. All I just need to know is how do I write PHP, and that is sitting in the documentation. So I don't have to sit for 6 hours watching someone code this. I'm gonna deal with the documentation. I started Monday. Tuesday, I was just reading through the code base, just trying to see how they are approaching the same concepts that I know. Wednesday, I told them that I was ready to get a task. And I remember my senior developer asking me that, did you finish the course? And I told him I didn't even do an hour. And he's like, why? And I'm like, I don't think it's necessary. I need the experience to start writing code. It's better than sitting for 6 hours. He's like, okay, here's your first task. What my first task? Submitted a pull request. It was a few lines of code changes. I think I got about 15 comments about what I had done. Yes, the code was working, but there were so many things I could have done better. And coming from a company, my previous company, where I didn't get any comments on my pull request because the environment wasn't like that, this felt like it was more intimidating. Like, what am I doing wrong? Am I, imposter syndrome? When you start feeling like you're not good enough and everything. But I got past that by thinking more positively about the feedback that I got, that these people are not criticizing me that I'm not smart enough or anything. They are trying to make me better. So if someone says this is better, if I don't understand why it's better, I can refer to the documentation to actually find out why it's better. If I think otherwise, then we can have a conversation because the people that I worked with also had an open mind. They don't mind you challenging their idea. If someone says you do it this way and you say no, why am I doing it that way? Because I think my way is better because A, B, and C. Then come and say, okay, yours is better because of A, B, and C, but mine is better because D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. Then it becomes a question of what's more optimal, which way is faster, which way is easier to understand for the next developer, because it's not always about the code working, it's about how does it fit in with the rest of the code base, and does it improve what we're currently doing, or does it derail us? So there is more that you need to take into consideration. So it all comes back to the fundamentals. Other things you will learn on the job. You won't know everything. A tutorial from YouTube will not tell you everything. The documentation will not tell you everything. Some things you learn on the job from others, because some people have gone down some rabbit holes that you will be going down, and they'll be able to tell you that that's not necessary. Do it this way. So as you join your first job, as you start doing the pull request reviews, it's also important to keep a positive mindset, because some of the comments might come in as harsh, like, why am I getting so many comments on my pull requests? Think of it positively, as this is a way for me to improve, not a way for me to derail or anything. It's a way that I can learn. It's a different way of learning than that you're used to, which is probably lectures or tutorials. This is a way of learning from someone else's comments, because someone will put a comment that you have to pick their mind to actually understand what do they mean by that. So yeah, it's a different way of learning.
Okay. Yes. Right. Thank you so much for such an explanation, so that people can prepare themselves for like, let's be brief now. Like, what are the opportunities that a newly graduate who like intending to branch into the field of software engineer does have, like the job opportunities, like how to find job opportunities as a software engineer?
So job opportunities are definitely there. One of the things that I'll say here at UCT is break the rules. Definitely attend break the rules. Every semester attend, because from there you will learn about different companies and what they are looking for. Their tech stacks, they'll tell you exactly what they're looking for. So it opens up your mind on how you can make your applications. So that's the first thing that I'll say. Then there's LinkedIn.
For students who are not in UCT.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is LinkedIn as well. You can ever look there, you will find job postings, and there's indeed all those job posting boards. I think there's another one called ZA Tech Slack. It's a Slack channel with a job postings board where other people also come in and post jobs. I find that people respond easily to those job postings than on LinkedIn, because I think on LinkedIn it's now the competition is you against the whole country. So you need to be you need to stand out. So if you're not one who's gonna stand out, if your transcript is not gonna do you justice, try and find other alternative source.
They look at the transcript when they are searching for employers.
Other companies do.
Oh.
That's the unfortunate. Other companies do. Other companies don't care. I haven't applied to a job where they've requested for my transcript.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you're trying to apply for, I don't know what it's called, BSG, Amazon, and everything, they're gonna look at your transcript. Definitely, they're gonna want it.
Okay.
And so that will separate the person with a first class from you with your 52% cumulative GPA at the end. And but then that only matters during the first years. As you get 4 or 5 years of experience, it's now about what do you know, not about what did you learn. What do you know now after 4 years? So don't be disheartened by your transcript. If you find a job that says they want a transcript and you look at your transcript, it's not impressive to you, walk away. It's okay to just walk away. Don't put yourself in a position where you get that we regret to inform you email, because those ones will bring you down a bit on some days where you are trying to be cheerful and you just get that one email and you be like, I really wanted that job, but now you guys regret to inform me that you will not be proceeding.
Yeah.
But
So based on that, there is this. We hear that some software engineers, they are self-taught, right?
yes,
Others are university taught, like you're a graduate from university. Like, what's the difference between those two? The self-taught software engineer and the university trained software engineer.
so I would say that there is actually not that much of a difference between a self-taught and a university graduate, because at the end of the day, there's a gap in the market between what you learn at university and what you do. There's a gap. The university will not teach you what you're going to do. The university will teach you the fundamentals of computer science. So when you do courses like I think CSC 2002, when you're doing red blood trees, binary trees, or when you're doing sorting algorithms, I don't think you're ever going to write a sorting algorithm as a software engineer. I don't think so. At least in my experience, I haven't had the need to. So there's a gap there are things that you need to learn by yourself, like things like Django, you need to learn by yourself. So in a way, I'm also a software developer, because even though I knew Python, for me to know Django, I had to learn. So in a way, I'm also self-taught, because Django I had to learn by myself. So there isn't that much of a gap. Maybe for someone who's a university graduate, you have that data structures and algorithms fundamentals, you know about optimizing your code, you are concerned about the speed and everything, you know about parallelism and concurrency, all those big terms that you learn in textbooks, you know about that. Maybe for a self-taught, they won't know that. So because for self-taught now, you usually focus on what you want to learn, which is, if you want to learn backend engineering, you are just going to be like, okay, I want to do backend and I want to do Python and Django. You will be doing just that. No one's going to come to you and say, in a Python Django course, this is how we do a merge sort or a quick sort. No one is going to come with that to you. So as a software developer, if you're not resourceful enough, you might not know those things, and they might affect how you actually approach your code and your problem solving. Because what the university does is it helps you with problem solving. It gives you this tenacity to solve problems in a more efficient or more robust way. As a self-taught, you're not learning how to solve a problem per se, but you're learning how to do something. Now, your problem solving has to come from your own creativity. And then at university, you were kind of molded in a certain direction of problem solving, especially in engineering. You see that when you're doing digital systems and everything, they give you a different way to solve problems, which is different from something that a soft-taught will have. They might not have that problem solving skill. So the difference, I think, would mainly lie on the problem solving, how you actually approach the problem. But otherwise, you can also be an equally good soft-taught software developer, which is part of why the industry is very interesting. It's not for computer science students or engineers, it's for anyone. Whether you're doing psychology or you're doing accounting, you want to get in, put in the effort, you will become a software engineer. So
okay. Can I become a data scientist? Is the same.
You can become, and if you will it, you can be it. You can have it all.
How much can a software engineer make out of university, like on average? Is it a good money? You know, how much, like on average? Like if I'm doing computer science or I'm doing computer engineering, you know,
Outside there is good money to be made. I'm not going to lie to you. There is good money to be made. It's unlike other industries, but the amount of money that you make also depends on which company you join. Because if you go and join AWS as a graduate, you're making money that other people with 8 years of experience might not see. But because it's Amazon, it's well paying. If you go and join a startup, you can see that maybe you're not making as much. It depends on what stage is the startup in. So I would tell you that my first job was stage one startup. I wasn't making as much as my friends. I was glad that I had a job. I was very happy that had a job. But when I look back and see that what my friends were making, basically I was probably making less than half someone at AWS was making. So it's very, I would say, imbalanced. It depends on which company you join. And but also as a junior, I would also say don't chase money, because at some point money will chase you.
yeah.
So chase the skill, chase the lessons, learn, grow. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. After that, money will chase you, because if you've grown the right way, if you've learned the right things, like right now there is so much that you can learn. There are cloud technologies like AWS, Azure, Google Cloud. You are acing your field, whatever. Is it backend? Is it front end? Are you full stack? You are learning. You are mastering the system design and everything. After 3 years, you can apply to any job that you want, and now money will chase you, because now as you apply, you will know that I've applied for this. They've invited me for an interview. I'm gonna make it through. They give you an offer. If you're not happy, you tell them I'm not happy with your offer. I am expecting an X amount. Either they take you seriously or they drop. If you are asking beyond their budget, that also happens if you're asking beyond their budget. But at this point, you realize that now you actually determining how much you make. So if you wanna shoot for the stars and go to Amazon, where you don't even have to negotiate your salary, because when you see it, you'll be like, that's enough. So as a junior, don't let money be your motivation. I know we all need money. We're all trying to settle. It's a transition from being a student. Maybe your parents were taking care of you, or you're on a bursary. Now you want to try, be on your own, get an apartment, start buying food. Maybe you want to get a car. All these things that you want. Let that not be your driving force. There is so much more to life than money. So focus on the right things as a junior, money will come. And when money starts flowing, trust me, you will thank the junior you that settled. As long as you get the career growth that you want from within a company, money will come.
Okay. Yeah, guys, there are a lot of questions we can ask, but because of time, and we cannot. But I'll just put your LinkedIn and your the way that, like any social media platform in which if they want to ask further questions, they can contact you guys. Cause yeah, all right. Any last words of advice to many students across the country who are in university and those in the high school? But let's start with university. What can
Yeah,
you say to them? You can look at them there.
definitely. I think I can say what I can say is don't be disheartened if you fail. I think it's not what counts is not the number of times that you fail, but it's the number of times that you rise up. If you keep that, then you will make it because you will fail at some point. But just don't give up.
Wow. High school, those who want to study software engineering is a good course, right?
It is a good course.
Yeah.
There is money, it's there, and it's interesting as well. It's challenging. So if you're someone who loves problem solving, who loves challenges, software engineering is for you. So and it's very highly rewarding because you get to see the results of your work.
All right. Is there anything that I'm leaving behind that you you think that the students must know who are in software engineering? Like that me, I don't know.
No, I think if you're a student and doing software engineering or if you're self-taught, you're on the right track. Just keep going, keep pushing. If you don't get the job that you applied for this week, it's okay. Just keep applying.
Keep applying, guys. So thank you so much
Okay,
for
thank
being
you.
part of this channel, guys. I hope you got inspired and you got more knowledge about software engineering. It's a really good course and it's always in demand. Please make sure you open up a LinkedIn profile, you get used to LinkedIn, and you find also I will say interact with people, make connections, because you heard him that he said some other job is suspected that because his friends were there, then that's how he got the internship. So thank you so much for your time on this channel. We really appreciate your presence on this channel. It's going to inspire a lot of students across the country, even internationally, because
Hopefully.
yes, yeah. Thank you guys. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Till next time, thank you.
There are other ways that you can become a software developer or an engineer. Join Zayo today and learn how to code, and it's very, very affordable. You can also learn computer literacy and the basics of coding, right? There are many students that enrolled for Zayo. Over 51,000 students have enrolled for Zayo. It's project-based, guaranteed first interview, and is self-paced. You get certificate after completion. You work one of the top companies in the world. Click the link on my bio and join Zayo today. Thank you.